Consciousness, the final frontier. These are the voyages into the universe between your ears. Our mission, to explore collective wisdom, seek out amazing secrets, and spread the message of personal potential.
So I have an incision from my breastbone to below my navel. That was my incision. Mm-hmm. So they were very, very much blown away by the health and condition of my liver. Mm-hmm. Even though they had to take 75%, it was just to make sure that they got all of the surrounding tissue.
Liver is the only organ that grows back though, right?
I know, yeah. And within 6 weeks as well. So for me, it's been almost 4 months. So I'm very excited to go back for my January scan and see what's the what. But I do believe, you can't say that cannabis cured your cancer. And in my case, I did have to go back in for some surgery as well. Yeah. But I do know the difference with how I feel now. And I would never go back and trade my decision for anything. I'm really happy with the decision I made. I've been able to help educate other people who are looking for help and looking for answers when dealing with not only the actual treatment of the tumor, but the emotional stuff that we go through. This is a life-altering, perspective-changing diagnosis. It is not a death sentence. I don't care what anybody says, there's no such thing as death, but what it is an opportunity to really look at this for yourself as a learning opportunity. To look at it as, I know why my cancer manifested the day that it did, the day before, I woke up at 2 a.m. on November 1st, 2011, I woke up at 2 a.m. with a gripping pain in the top of my right at my solar plexus. Gripping. It was like a vice grip. I couldn't breathe. I was like, what the hell is going on? I knew it wasn't a heart attack because it was I was different. It was like where my stomach was, like at the top of my stomach. But the day before, I had my come to Jesus moment where I decided that I absolutely had to tap out of my Passion Fruit Designs business. I was done with it. I was done with the stress of relocating to California and where my marriage was at and everything. It just exploded in front of my face. But the deeper reason...
You're thinking I guess I'm trying to understand. You're thinking that, having that lifestyle of constant stress and pursuing your idea, I guess you probably maybe lost that balance in your life, and that
absolutely. Not only did I lose the balance of taking care of myself, because until this point I really was very obese. And my weight charts always said it. I'm 5.5 inches, 5 feet and 1/2 inches. At this point, I was 165 pounds. I have documentation because I've always been starting a new diet. So I've always been trained in my fitness mentality, front, back, and side photos, right? So I have documentation of the week before I was diagnosed with this cancer. It's like documented. The real bottom line, though, was that I was not careful enough with my thoughts and emotions for my entire lifetime. As amazingly positive a person as I am, and I've always been that way, and as amazingly successful as I had been in business, I was like most of us, walking around with my mental groove playing in a very negative record. I was always debating something in my head. I was always arguing, finishing an argument, backing up my argument, reliving an argument in my head. How many people out there can identify with that? I think a lot of us get into this habit where we're just numb to it, that we don't even realize we're doing it. I see it when I go through my Facebook news feed, and I do that not as mindless scrolling. I do that because I'm trying to pick up on what are people wanting, What are people calling me for? Where can I be of most service? How can I uplift somebody in the world today? That's why I scroll my Facebook feed. And what I see is so much calls for help, whether it's with their relationships, with their health, usually with their health and their finances first, because people don't want to out themselves as not being successful in relationships, especially if you're in one. Nobody wants to talk about, although there's a lot of people that, you know, complain about relationships, but mostly health and finances first, followed closely by relationships. And, you know, that's where my mind was. My mind was in a constantly negative groove. And now in hindsight, looking back on it, I can really understand how the difference between how I was before this realization and this work started, the timing of when the cancer showed up, the growth and progress and my evolution as a human being and human doing on this planet, how that evolved. Everything just is so clear. When I reverse engineer the whole cancer thing, it just is really clear that it's a pattern of thinking. Listen, everything that shows up for us is a mirror, I believe. A mirror to show us who we are, where we are resonating. When you get a diagnosis like cancer, you have to ask yourself, how does this make me feel right now? What's my general state of being and feeling right now, not only in general, but as I get this news? As I get this news and as I work through this, what's my general vibrational stance? And for most people, when you ask them, how did you feel when you got your diagnosis? They will say, scared, angry, sad, worried, depressed, disempowered. Why me, right? We are walking around with these very low-flying vibrations on a general level. We're numbing ourselves to not pay attention. We think, oh, you know, I just have, you know, I'm just a little fat, Berns, but, you know, I could still camouflage dress into this outfit and not look too shabby. You know, we're not paying attention. We're numbing out ourselves with food, with things to distract us from really understanding the benefits of taking care of ourselves and our mental state. And in the process, we're assuming that this low-level tension of dis-ease in ourselves is okay. And that's when disease shows up. When we have dis-ease in our mind, it brings on dis-ease in our body, because we are attracting more experiences that match up with how we are currently feeling. Feeling, for the most part. So our job is, it's not about blaming ourselves either. It's not about saying, oh my God, you're such an idiot, Berns, for, I mean, come on, that would be me not having learned anything. I never feel that way. I think, oh my God, look at the amount of health and vitality I've put into my vortex with all this dis-ease, with all this, you know, too tired. This is my life leading up to the cancer, right? Too tired, too stressed, not really tuned into my family as much as I could be, you know, unbalanced, like you said, right? So this has been the cancer. When people say cancer was a gift, it's for those of you out there who are listening, do not think that I'm not sympathetic to you. I'm walking your walk, man. I am walking your walk, like walking the walk, but I'm also doing so compassionately, understanding that this may be a far-reaching concept for you to grasp, but I'm telling you, cancer, anything that is happening in your life, if you start looking at it as an opportunity to somehow grow through it, to somehow rise above, and to somehow transform your life, look at it as a challenge to transform your life, not a challenge that you have to get through. If we look at it as an opportunity for growth, then it will become an opportunity for growth. Yep. And that is why I believe strongly that my vitality that I have now, my purpose, my desire to help people with their health, with their balance for relationships, and with their financial restoration and transformation. That's why I'm so powerfully focused and so powerfully obsessed about it. Because I know what it feels like to have my health, my relationships, and my finances ripped out from underneath me.
I've been listening to this, and I mean, it's easy for us to say, you know, apply those principles and whatever, but when it actually hits you, I thought you're an extremely courageous and powerful being who was able to overcome this, and I'm really impressed by this. And
thank you so much, Gabby. That means the world. Can I touch on that topic of courageous and courage and strength?
Absolutely.
Can we stop you? Go for
No, sorry. Hey man, Berns has the floor. Watch out.
That's why you're here.
Awesome. I'm so happy to share this because, listen, I'm so passionate about it because I've seen the change that it's had in my life. And I know that there is a better way to think and feel about things that would normally take us down. I don't want anybody to think either that I haven't had my moments of losing it. When I first got that diagnosis that I had the 4 new tumors show up on my liver, I wasn't expecting it. I sat in my car in the parking lot at Mount Sinai Hospital in Toronto, one of the most and Princess Elizabeth, they're side by side, literally. I had my surgery for my liver across the street. So this is called the University Health Network, and it's one of the most amazing cancer facilities in the world, right? I'm sitting in the parking lot, I'm bawling my eyes out. I can't drive for an hour because I'm losing my shit. I am just losing it. I've been through the trenches with this. And let me make something else very clear. When I woke up from my surgery this August, and it's well documented in my Facebook profile, please go and look. My Facebook profile is open because I want everybody to have access to it. I'm close to 5,000 friends on there now, so there's going to come a time where you're just going to have to follow me. I document it, and that was really hard. That was really challenging. There were some real challenges with that. Not as challenging as when I woke up from my stomach surgery. Well, that was a whole other, that was something crazy, crazy. To wake up from surgery and for your doctor to say, I asked him, so how did it go, doc? He's like, awesome. We got 90% of your stomach out. And I was like, what the are you talking about? Wait, hold on a minute. What now? I mean, I was just on the roll of, I trust this doctor. He's going to take this tumor out. I'm going to be fine. Not to wake up and go, oh, you've had this exact same operation as a gastric bypass. And I'm like, my world was rocked. But so I've been through the trenches on this. I know what it feels like to feel the fear and to feel disempowered and to feel angry and to feel scared and to feel like, oh, well, like what? I guess I got 3 or 4 years and then that's it. And to be suddenly single again. So I know what it feels like. And what courage for me is, courage for me is about seeing the shit hit the fan, seeing that I've got a situation in front of me that I didn't really expect, although Abraham says you always get what you expect. So I guess I expected it on a certain level that I had to pay the piper at some point. But here I am facing something that was really uncomfortable. Let's put it that way. My courage has been about the fact that I've been able to be vulnerable about it and to be able to share it openly and to be able to acknowledge that it's been hard. There have been times where I've just wanted to throw in the towel. And when I've said like, this frigging sucks, waking up from surgery this August, you know, I had just come off of my company's annual celebration in Vegas, where we had 15,000 other associates and executives and millionaires and multimillionaires. My team was there. I was there. I was like, the week after, I was in surgery. So it completely took this wind out of my sails in terms of my momentum to grow my business. I knew that, so the courage comes from being open about stuff. The courage comes from saying, I need help. The courage comes from looking at stuff not as something to take me down, but to something to grow through. That is what courage is for me. I'm just as, it takes more real, when people think of strength, oh, you're so strong. No, you need more strength to stay feeling shitty. That's, this is easy. This lit up knowing that my life has been redefined, my purpose has been redefined by this journey. This is easy. Staying struggling and, oh my God, woe is me, and oh my God, I want to kill myself, that's hard.
Yeah, if you compare that would, definitely would feel way more terrible than doing something about it, right?
Absolutely. And it's not that the work isn't easy. The work sometimes feels hard. The work really isn't hard. We tell ourselves that, oh my God, that's so hard. Writing a gratitude journal, come on. That's not hard. You just don't want to do it because you have whatever you're telling yourself as, oh, that's too simple. That can't be, it can't be that easy. I got a manual here that actually outlines what I did, because it's what I did, literally. And the steps along the way, and the things that I transcribed, and the things that I studied, and the things that I applied, they're all right here, you know?
I'm going to jump in because I got so many things to say here.
Okay.
First, I want to start at the end. What you just gave us, the lesson here about, well, it's a common theme, right? And what I want to do is to point out to anybody who might be watching this, might just be listening to this, there's a reason why we keep hearing this same theme from all of the people who everybody looks up to and respects for what they have to say. It's because it's the truth. It's because it's how things work, right? We're so trained into the complaining that we don't want to accept that the reality is however we decide the reality is. And when we get to that place where we can start to look at the crap that happens at whatever level in life and look at that and say, well, there's an opportunity here to learn something. I may not know what it is right now. I may not know what it is for 2 years, but there's an opportunity here, right? It's not just, woe is me, life took another shit on me, right? Because it takes a shit on all of us.
Yeah, like you said, we create our own reality. We really do. What we focus on, you can either focus on what's happening in your life. If what's happening in your life is ringing your bells and everything's going great and you genuinely love your life, keep doing that. But if you're looking at your life and you're not happy with it, you don't have to look at reality. You really can create your own reality. And it is as simple as looking for things to appreciate in your day. It is that simple. And you're right, people don't want to do it. Why? Because we have so much momentum. It's not that we're lazy. It's not that we're stupid. It's none of those things that we want to beat ourselves up on. It's just that we have a lot of momentum going, that sometimes you need something to take the momentum out of your momentum, like cancer. And if that doesn't really make you stop and go, okay, what's the bigger lesson here? Then you haven't hit rock bottom enough.
We have to learn new habits, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We go through the day, and everything that we're doing basically is just a bunch of habits that we link together. And those are the actions that we take because that's what we're in habit of doing.
Right.
Something happens and we don't want that to be the reality anymore. It just means we have to develop a new habit. Yep,
exactly. And the nice thing about that is that it's not that hard to do it. And that it's really the roadmap is there for all of us. It's the same steps. It's the same answer. That's what I love about Abraham Hicks, because I've consumed, oh my gosh, a lot of hours of Abraham Hicks and listened to some recordings over and over and over again. And even now when I hear it, I'm like, oh my God, wow, I got something new out of that. That's amazing. But the nice thing is that you can form the new habits and we have the tools, but usually, if not always, the answer is always the same. Doesn't matter what the problem is. The answer is always the same.
Okay, I want to go back to the beginning.
Okay.
We can.
Kim, just to add to what you were saying, right?
Sure.
It doesn't have to be a big crisis situation to serve as a wake-up call, you know.
Right.
I just, you know, I find a lot of people, especially my parents' generation, right? They're kind of like taking stock. Okay, well, you know, I'm doing all right. I have a job. You know, my kids are growing up, whatever. But in their daily feelings, right? There's this what you're calling the slow level dis-ease, right? This irritation, humming there in the background, right? And I kind of detected that, and I started having these conversations.
You're shaking your camera.
Oh yeah, I am shaking my head. So you know what? And it's not all right. This is something that you know, you need to really have a fully accomplished, happy, you know, amazing, joyful experience on this earth. You know, do not settle for less. That's what I'm trying to do.
And that's something we all have to learn.
And a lot of us do. We settle. We're okay with just getting by. You know, I don't care.
Most of us are.
Most of us are. A few of us like me are ready to go. Yeah, okay, not anymore. You know, it's been a journey to that. But yeah, a lot of us are not living up to our full potential because we are afraid of stepping outside of our comfort zone, because that's where your more lies. What you have right now is within your comfort zone. But what you have right now is never enough, and that's okay. It's always good to strive for more. We came to evolve. We came to make the world a better place. You can only do that when you have your health, when you have your financial resources so that you can do the things and have the experiences and affect the people in positive ways that you want to. Because when good people make good money, they do great things. To quote my amazing friend, Chris Harder, who I love listening to his podcast, For the Love of Money, because that's his tagline in it, but it's true. And relationships, it's forced me to really be really serious about developing really good relationships, first and foremost with myself, because if I don't have a good relationship with me, I can't have a good relationship with anybody, right? So yeah, we need to all really look at how can we all look at ways to really work on having your optimal performance in your relationships, in your health, and in your finances. Because, and it's not the scary, listen, finances, that word used to scare the bejesus out of me. It's like, oh my God, don't even talk to me about finances. Like, I can't even, stop, don't, right? It's not about saving money, and it's not about the scary side of things. It's about figuring out ways to do smart things with your time so that you can have a plan to have an income for the rest of your life based on down the road, based on the work you do today. Residual income, multiple streams of residual income. All wealthy people know this. Yeah. They know this. So the balance between those three components, sorry, Tim, I know I'm cutting you off. But the balance between those three components, listen, this is my absolute dream and desire, that I give everybody listening, every one of your listeners, hope that no matter where you are today, in your health, in your relationships, or in your financial situation, even if you feel like, oh, things are pretty good, I'm not complaining, they could always be better, right? They can always be better, and know that there are solutions out there for that. The key is that you have to be open to what I believe the universe is trying to give us. And a lot of us block ourselves from what we have created for ourselves. The stuff that the universe is trying to give us is the stuff that we have created for ourselves. When we say, I don't want to have, when we say we want a healthier body as a result of our being sick, a healthier body is ours to have. Now, how do we get out of our way and allow that in? Yeah. Right? It's all about how, and the work is gratitude journal, people. The work is a gratitude journal, because when you're pointed in the direction of your vortex, everything that you want is in your vortex, and you want everything that you think you want because you believe it will make you happier in the having of it, and it is true, it will. And the thing that makes us so miserable and sad and disempowered and angry and depressed and irritated is knowing that we're not living up to our true full potential. That's what gets us angry. So it's not that we have the cancer that's angry. It's that we know that we've put into our vortex really good health, but we're so pointed at looking at the cancer. We're not looking towards the direction of our vortex to where our good health is. How do you do that? Well, how do I do that, Berns? I have cancer. I'm like dying. I'm in pain. I get it. Me too. Been dying. We've all been dying since day one on this planet. We've all been dying. So that doesn't really hold any, cred for me. What the work is the gratitude. That's where it starts, because gratitude, when you point your compass in the direction of your vortex, and that true north is centered around gratitude for the things that you have, it is law that you will draw to yourself more experiences that make you feel grateful. And good health is one of them. Solutions.
That's the easiest way to enter.
Fastest way back.
Yeah. That's
okay. Here's what I would like to do, because we're well beyond an hour already. What I would like to do is, so I've got 4 or 5 things that I'd like to touch on that Berns, you spoke about, like in the beginning of your story. And if you're up for it, what I would like to do is to plan for another interview down in the future somewhere, where we do more of an intentional sort of educational trip with people, right? You guys up for that? Where we do, okay, here's step 1, and maybe we can each chime in with what we think is the way to accomplish step 1, whatever. But we can do we'll give people a law of attraction education.
Well, I think I love that idea, because there's so many key things that all put together make for a really simple plan. And when I work with people with my health and life coaching business, what I do, my health and lifestyle business, life coaching is part of that. One of the things that I do is I really break it down into some really simple things to apply. They're not hard. It's like the gratitude journal. It's certain different small exercises. Some are written, some are just things to notice. Usually within 30 days, I love this. Usually within 30 days, my clients don't need me on the mindset life coaching side of things or the health side.
Fast.
I get them.
Very fast. Yeah.
It's not complex, exactly.
No.
It's not complex. And the thing is that I pour such belief into them because I've walked it. I've sorted out the relationship. I've sorted out the health, but not an expert on anything, but have a pretty good basis of how it all works. I'm sorting out the financial stuff. So the nice thing is that it within 30 days, they may want a little touch up here or there or a little, check-in, but within 30 days, they've got the same foundation that I have. And I've taught them how to look for and find things on YouTube by Abraham Hicks to help them along the way. My biggest, most amazing, I'll tell you this real quick because I know, Tim, you have something else to add. My biggest success came last night. I was saying goodnight to my 15-year-old daughter, and I've had a lot of successes with my kids and with life coaching them and with my boyfriend and even with my ex-husband, and everybody I touch, I think, benefits. But last night was we included. Went to kiss her goodnight, and she said, "Mom, what's that Abraham Hicks recording that you were watching it like last week?" I'm like, "Seriously, Kaya? I've watched 100 since last week." Well, I don't know which one you're talking about. Go down, open up the YouTube on the smart TV where I watched it, and go through my history and find it. She said, "Okay, I'll go down and do that. I'm tired, but I'll go down." So I put it on my phone and listen to it while I sleep. And she found it, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is so awesome." And it's funny, it's the one that I sent to a few of my friends and said, this is you got to listen to this. Yeah. And she said, "This one really just resonated with me, Mom. So I really wanted to listen to it." And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy because
we gotta have this. We have our meetup on Sunday.
Yes.
So we were looking for a fragment to play for the clip, right?
Okay, well, I'll send you that clip because I started listening to it this morning because it was bedtime, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is a good one. That was a good one." Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in here. So what I want to do is just sort of point these things out, and we can take time and comment on all these things, but
Sure.
I don't want to lose track of these things, and I want to keep them as part of this recording, or this is probably going to end up as two anyway. But so in the beginning of your story, when you were talking about being on you just had the idea about creating a bikini for somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and you were essentially, what I heard is you were intimidated about sort of even talking to these people that were over on this other board, right?
Big time.
So you swallowed that, and you put it out there, and you asked,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a lesson there. I've learned that recently, and it's a big piece of why the three of us are sitting here talking right now.
Mm-hmm.
The more you can get to that place where you just give it up and go, all right, I'm not going to fight this anymore. I'm just going to give in and go, be something a little bit different than I have been.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you do that, things change.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one lesson. You got somebody who said, yeah, I'll work with you. And when they tried to tell you how it's going to go, you owned your position as the leader in that environment, because you're the one making this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She's going to wear it, but you're the one.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's something else that we all need to learn is whatever it is that we're trying to be, that we're trying to do, we need to take it upon ourselves that we can lead.
That
for
we
other
are the
people.
expert in this. Even though I wasn't the expert, I knew that I had a vision, and I knew that I was the designer. She was calling me to design her bikini. She wasn't making her bikini. I was making her bikini. So to understanding, having a posture of belief within yourself.
Believing your intuition, having confidence.
Even if you don't believe, you just step into it, and it happens.
I think you have to have a certain. I think that they happen really happen so quickly together that you almost think they happen at the same time.
Yeah,
but I believe you have to have a certain level of belief, or else you're stepping into it. You're not really stepping all the way into it. You're kind of hesitant. Like if I'd said, well, let's try a few and see how it goes, I wouldn't have had any crystals on the damn suit, right? But I said, I'm putting crystals on the suit.
Yeah.
They're not going to believe what hit them, and that's how it went. Yeah.
That just to add to that, I wouldn't even make that step until I am in that place where I have that confidence, right? And so if you follow the Abraham's teachings on that, remember there was this one woman who was really scared shitless to fall from a plane, I think, on a parachute, right?
Oh.
And she was so scared of heights and whatever. And Abraham said, don't do that. Don't do that. If you feel you're going to get hurt, get aligned with it first, right?
Exactly.
And then only then you make that step, right?
Yeah. So it's that belief combined. That belief is what that alignment is, right? Belief, knowing, clarity.
Right. So you need to do the work. You need to do the work to align. It may not happen, and that's fine. Like for example, if you worked hard and you thought, that's a good idea, but I don't feel comfortable about that, and it kind of still brewing. And if you brought yourself to that state, then you take that step. But it could be that you're never going to feel that way, and that's fine not to pursue it then.
Yeah, and that brings up, it's funny, my boyfriend and I were just talking about this, looking at our relationship goals, looking at our independent goals as independent people, just tonight before this call. And we were looking at that. We were looking at, if you have a goal, let's say you have a goal. I have a goal to grow my business and to help a certain amount of people, and it's a very impressive number by the end of next year, meet their health and financial goals. If I look at that goal and I'm not really clear on why, and really not clear on the guiding principles of what are important to me as I build that goal towards helping as many people as I can with their health and fitness goals and their financial rebuilding themselves through residual income and understanding the benefit of that. If I'm not super clear on why that's important, and if I'm not super clear on my fundamental principles that are my foundation stones behind that, family, fitness, having fun, contributing to society and to the world in a positive way. If the decision that I'm being asked to do, or somebody's asking me to do something, if it does align with my future vision and meeting my goal, and if it does fit into my foundational principles that are important to me, if it fits into all those things, so I know that doing this action is going to help me get to my goal. If I decide, nah, I don't want to do that, that looks kind of uncomfortable, it is my job to get in alignment with that shit and get it done. That's that. If it doesn't fit into my guiding principles to help me get to my goal, if it doesn't fit into that, then it's a hell no. I'm not doing it. You can't get me to do it. That's okay, because it's not.
Oftentimes, though, Bernie, oftentimes there are things that are completely not making sense at all, irrational. Right?
That's when it doesn't fit into your guiding principles or
they
towards
didn't fit that. No, they didn't fit, but I just had this strong intuition. It felt good to do it somehow. So, and in the end, it happened. Some of those decisions, right, were one of the best decisions, you know, and only later I could look in hindsight. It was like, okay, I couldn't have seen the whole picture.
Right.
But that's bringing another factor in, though, right? You had an intuition about it.
I got my inner being, if we do the Abraham speak, right? My inner being, through my GPS, which is the emotions, was guiding me towards that decision. Intellectually, I was behind. I was still catching up to it, right? But the feeling was already there, right?
Yeah.
So trusting your intuition, that's exactly what I meant, right? Sometimes
So important. So important. We tend to discount our intuition, and that's where life, what it throws you. I've learned so many things in the 15 years of growing my bikini business. I've learned so many things by looking back on what happened and reverse engineering it, understanding why did I make that decision? What was the little, gut intuition that I didn't listen to? Right. And I ended up designing for some of the biggest fitness stars. I mean, the owner of Oxygen magazine wore my bikinis twice on stage, and I was on her reality show as well. So I came a long way, baby. And through all those experiences, they were not always good. There was a lot of learning. There was a lot of figuring out, how do I become a better person, a better company owner, a better designer, a better leader to my staff that worked for me. I had about 10 or 12 people. But in the end, it was all about, everything happened as an opportunity to learn, to get to understand what my intuition muscle was, and to practice flexing my intuition muscle. I saw when I didn't flex it, I ended up with a little bit of a problemo on my hands. And when I did listen to it, oh my God, the stuff that opened up for me.
Yeah, I just got, I found that if I didn't follow my intuition, I went in purely intellectually. I oftentimes just later realize, okay, how do I feel about that now? If it's still not good, I cut my losses. I get out. I get out quickly, and you know what? It's experience.
Well, I love Virgin Mobile's CEO, Sir Richard Branson. Whenever anybody brought him anything, idea, anything, he always said yes. Now, what is it we're doing? What did I just agree to? Like, I don't even care what the thing is. I'm just going with it. And he has what? I heard that he had something like 20 failed companies. He had Virgin this, Virgin that, everything he named Virgin. Because, hey, man, if it didn't fail, I was a virgin at it. I didn't know what I was doing. But trusting your intuition that everything that's coming to you is going to either be something good for you or something to learn through. I think that's a really fun way to live. You'd never, whenever anybody approaches me with a business plan that they want me to look at, or an idea, a company they want me to join, even though I'm so happy with my current network marketing home, and I'm not going anywhere. I know that because I'm home. I'm home. I always stay open. I always say, you know what? Let me have a look. Let me see what you're doing. Let me see what you're up to. Right?
Yeah, why did you attract it, right? Why did you attract it into your experience, right? There had to be something,
Yeah. Well, people are attracted to drive and ambition and the posture that I have. So they want me on their team. But, you know, the point is always stay open. Always stay open. I know, Tim, you're going to just be like,
well, what you,
we can definitely, if you want to have me on 5 times, I'll be on. But you know, just really quickly, just because I know, and then I know we'll probably have to end, but just a really interesting point to that. I wasn't open to my business opportunity that I'm in right now. When 5 years ago, one of our current top influencers in our company, the girl that opened and did the keynote speech for our celebration in Vegas in front of 15,000 people, she tried to introduce me to this opportunity 5 years ago, and I wasn't having anything of it. And now, and because of my own hang-ups about network marketing and what I had been involved with before, I tried it before with another health company, that went. So, you know, it's just interesting. I often think, where would I be now if I had been open to her 5 years ago? So that is something to think about. You know, I don't say that with regret. I'd maybe say it with a little bit of regret. Okay, because I
don't personally think it would have worked out.
I wasn't ready for it.
You weren't getting that intuitive hit that says, yeah, this sounds good.
And now looking at it in reverse engineering it, I can see why. I wasn't ready for it. There's a lot of personal growth that I had to go through. There was a lot of perspective that I had to gain still. And I'm glad that I gained it. I mean, you know, it's like Berns, you took a little while to catch on. But hey, man, sometimes I'm a slow learner. That's okay. But in the meantime, I built up so many great relationships with my bikini business. I grew so much in the process. So I really don't regret anything. But it's just good to keep it in mind that being open, never stay closed to anything. Even if at first you think, that's a lot of BS. Keep an open mind. The smartest people in the world have the most open minds. Do that. Open your mind, open your heart. Open mind, open heart. That's how I try to live as much as possible. I
think what I want to bring up here is when you talked about Richard Branson, the next note on my list here is say yes. There was an example that you gave, and I'm sorry I lost it. It was too long ago, but you said yes to something that you weren't prepared for. And you said, well, you know, all right, guess we'll figure it out, right?
Wasn't prepared.
And that's the same thing Richard Branson is doing. But as you were just talking about, you know, when I don't personally think that you want to just say yes to everything, right? But if you're
yes to taking a look, not say yes to the opportunity, but say yes.
Right. But if you look at something and you don't want to, because you want to be able to objectively look at why you feel like saying no, right? You've got resistance to it for some reason, but a piece of you is going, you know, this kind of sounds like a good idea. That's your intuition that you ought to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
If you don't have that piece there and that little somebody on your shoulder going, you know, I like this idea, then the resistance is probably valid, my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. Trust that things will work out. Because they're always working out for me. This is a classic Abraham thing.
Absolutely.
When we trust and we don't have the fear, the resistance, you know, stuff works. Right?
It just works. Yeah.
It can happen overnight or what seems like overnight. Right? Once we give in, all of this stuff, it just keeps coming back to losing the resistance.
Oh yeah.
And just giving up and going with the process, whatever it is.
Yeah. Just putting the boat, it's like, I love this analogy because it's always been one of my favorite nursery rhymes, but row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Now, life is really supposed to be like that. But what a lot of us do is we take our boats to the river, our fast flowing streams where we've put all these amazing ideas and amazing things and amazing desires that we want. We have a fast flowing life, right? Lots of energy flowing. We put our boat in our stream and we point it upstream and we start paddling upstream as if that's where everything that we want lies.
Right.
Everything that we want lies is downriver, downstream. And you got to just put your oars in the boat and enjoy the frigging ride, man, because that is where the joy comes from. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Not an effort up the stream. It's gently down. People, we've been hearing this since we were 2, right? Since we were babies in our mama's arms. Row, row, row your boat, right?
You'll find it funny. You heard Jerry Hicks using that example, actually, upstream, downstream.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, he would take a thought occurring in your mind. It was like, and he would evaluate, is that an upstream thought or a downstream thought, right?
Right.
And that was his way of like explaining actually also that if you are really feeling bad, don't right away look for a downstream thought. Try to get into maybe a thinking where you kind of like less downstream and then little by little.
Like just put one oar in the boat and let the stream turn your boat, right? Or try to fix everything. Because that's what gets a lot of people tripped up. They think, I got to fix it. And how do I fix it? It's
right
like,
away, right.
First of all, there's nothing to fix, guys. Listen, there's nothing to fix. Nothing is broken. You are not broken. I've worked with some of the hardest cases of trying to help people with their, I've laid in people's beds with them as a suicide watch. I kid you not. One of my dear friends, that's what I did for her. And it's not, she constantly thinks that she's broken and that she's too broken to fix. And I constantly tell her, you are not broken. Stop telling yourself that story because that does not make you feel good. You are simply in the midst of a lot of momentum. And you can let this settle down. Just, you're jumping out of a parachute of a plane. You have no parachute. Don't worry. It'll be over in a minute. Make some fun noises. Just go with it. Spread
your arms and your hands.
Enjoy the ride.
Slow down by little.
So those are some really important things. I really want everybody to leave this recording with me and us, the 3 of us, feeling like a real sense of hope. A real sense of hope that it's not that you're broken if you're struggling with something. It's just that you're looking at your situation as a struggle. And it's just as simple as just looking for things to appreciate. I'm telling you, that is the solution. That is the start of your journey. There's a great clip that I would love you guys to share. I'm not sure if it'll be applicable to everybody, but I know usually if people are listening in on an Abraham Hicks law of attraction kind of thing, there is a chance that there are a few people that may really be needing some soothing, where it's like the gratitude, like, give me a break. I think I'm going to kill myself right now. God forbid that is the case, because I shouldn't say that. If that is really what you need for your path, you need to know that there's a solution that you can keep on working on your alignment here with us still. And there's
if they've hung in to this point, and even if they still feel a little irritation with that idea, if they've hung in to this point, there's a reason.
Oh yeah, and there's a great clip that I always refer all of my hardest, most, when you're feeling at your lowest. It's called Here's Help. If you search Abraham Hicks, Here's Help by Sax Mix, SASX, or SASMIX. But Here's Help. It'll come up. It's a red hand holding a black hand in print, the red print. You'll see it. It is one of the best soothing things for if you're really drowning, if you feel like you're really just drowning. One of the best recordings to really soothe you back into a place of neutrality so that you can then go, okay, let me try to work on a gratitude journal.
And I'll look for that, and we'll add the link to the show notes.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. So let's give people some info on how they can follow up with you if they want to. How do they learn more about you and what you do? And
Thank you so much. Well, I am on Facebook and on Instagram, mostly on Facebook, though. I love the connectivity. I do a lot of Facebook Lives. And on Facebook, I am Berns Bedard. That's Berns Bedard, Bedard. And on Instagram, same thing. Instagram, if you just search Berns Bedard, I'm in there as Berns Bedard. And yeah, I love doing Facebook Lives on Facebook, obviously. I have a YouTube channel as well, and I will be starting to do YouTube Lives and uploading videos there. But my main platform right now is Facebook. So make sure that you stop by and check it out.
cool. And we'll put those links in the show notes too for everybody.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, all right, this has been pretty much what I expected it to be, nonstop fun. And we have to do this again.
Must do it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
It's been great fun and really a privilege for us to attract you into our experience.
Well, I appreciate being attracted into your
such
experience.
a powerful story, and the way you relay this with such energy and passion. And I'm sure, I mean, if I encountered this episode myself for the first time, I would be immediately drawn to listen to it, more and more.
Oh, guys, I appreciate that so much. I feel the love, and I so appreciate the opportunity to just come and spread a little Berns love to your community. And
We're
Gabby,
feeling the Berns.
You're feeling the Berns. Awesome. And Gabby, it was great meeting you for the first time as well. You are an awesome energy as well. And Tim, as always, it's always great to see you.
Thank you, you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will do it again and again and again, I suspect.
I would love that. That's
cool.
fun. And my license plate on my other car, I don't want to sound like I have a lot of cars, but my license plate on my Mercedes convertible has something to do with life being fun. I obviously was just going to say it, and then I'm like, well, no, maybe I don't want to let people know what my license plate is. But it has to do with fun. And basically, if you're not having fun, you're missing the whole point of this life experience. We came to create a beautiful life. We came to have fun, and we came to leave this world better and happier than when we met it. And that's how I actually like to leave every single call. I want everybody to feel happier and better when I'm done interacting with you than when you met me. So I hope that goes.
Definitely. Yeah.
Awesome.
I do every time.
Oh, you're sweet. All right, guys. Thanks again.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We'll talk soon.
Talk soon.
Hi, this is Tim Starr. Thanks for joining me and Gabi on the universe between your ears. We really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us for a little while. And we'd like to see you again. So be sure to subscribe wherever it is you're consuming the podcast from, whether it's YouTube or Stitcher or iTunes or whatever the hell else is out there. We want to see you again. We also want to hear from you. So let us know what you think of each episode. Let us know if you got an idea for a future episode that you think would be just killer. Absolutely, let us know. All right? Thanks again, and we will see you next time around.